This is Barnstable Today for Thursday, October 30th. Welcome aboard. I'm Mark Mumford.
The Massachusetts Estuary Project report on Lewis Bay provides our lead story. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Friel.
That report was detailed yesterday in the Town Hall hearing room with Dr. Dale Sod of the town's DPW taking the lead.
Good evening, and my name is Dr. Dale Sod, and I work for the town of Barnstable and the DPW. I'd like to invite you all to enjoy this, not just sitting here in our wonderful hearing room, but in TV land, you might say. This will be going out for stream and video so that if for some reason you want to hear this or see this again, it will be available on the town website for you to view at another time, another date. Right now we are very pleased to have Dr. Brian House here. He is from the University of Massachusetts in Dartmouth, and he'll be talking to us tonight about our Lewis Bay embayment system. The town of Barnstable has been doing this work in the town here for a long time. In the 1980s, people were realizing that we were having problems in our embayments. They were noticing that the water seemed greener or browner, that places where they shellfish, where there was beautiful sand, now all of a sudden there was this mud and muck, and the shellfish were no longer there. This led to a lot of disappointed people in realizing that some of their places that they used to love to go shellfishing or even to go swimming were changing. This is the process called eutrophication of our coastal embayments, and Dr. Brian is now going to be telling us about our Lewis Bay system. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dale. Tonight I'm going to be presenting the results of the Massachusetts Estuaries Project work on Lewis Bay. We have a couple members of the technical team here from Tom Cambreri from the Cape Cod Commission and Ed Eichner, more recently of SMAS, formerly of the Cape Cod Commission, who are also going to be able to take questions at the end of this in addition to me. So we try to show up in force for these things. Lewis Bay embayment system is obviously part of the town of Barnstable, but it's also part of the town of Yarmouth. And in fact, the work that I'm reporting on was not just a university project or a state project. It was a partnership project with the municipalities, starting first with Barnstable and then including the town of Yarmouth, and both municipalities.
Following his lengthy and detailed presentation, Dr. Howes took questions. One of the first to launch an inquiry was Waterways Committee Chair Jack Mead.
In the course of your study, were you able to do or just include in the study an analysis of the water depth in Lewis Bay over a course of a 30-year period, or?
No, we didn't. We didn't do the long-term depth change within the bay. We did map it, as you see. We did check areas. We can cross overlay old charts, but that wasn't really something that we had to do. A lot of these basins stay pretty much the same. The areas like that are dredged, like in the Inner Harbor, obviously go up and down all over the place. And certainly near the inlet is a very dynamic area. Mostly
relying probably on the aerials from various.
Well, there's charts. We have old charts that we do use as well but we did our own surveys. The bathymetric charts here we survey them at high frequency, much higher than you would do for a nautical chart, and then we cross-reference our data to the charts again as a QA check.
Question for you. You mentioned about natural attenuation of freshwater ponds. How would we be able to increase that? Well,
it depends on the pond. I mean, one of the things in the three bay systems in the Marston's Mills River, as you know, Mill Pond, which is the oldest mill pond, maybe the first mill pond on Cape Cod from the 1600s. And that pond, when it was developed, had a certain depth to it, 8-10 feet. Now it's about 6 inches, things like that. So that and it's filling in, and there's invasives moving around the side, and it's used to go. You take your kids out and you look at the ducks. Now the ducks are standing in the middle of the pond rather than swimming around. So some of the concept would be to restore that pond to a pond again, and by doing so increase the retention of water in it, which would increase the time for nitrogen to be removed from it. We've done a very detailed study with the town and with Three Bays Preservation on that pond to see if that's potentially feasible. But it's a long way from being constructed at this point.
The science in the Lewis Bay report is complex and not easily encapsulated. You can watch the entire presentation by going to the town's website.
Meanwhile, the Airport Commission is joining the Town Council for a workshop session this evening. The plans for a new airport terminal will be in focus. Here is Airport Commission Chair Dan Santos providing a terminal plans update at the Airport Commission's latest meeting.
The terminal building, cover that briefly. The terminal building committee met at 4 o'clock today, just before this meeting, and we hadn't met in 2 months, so we had a number of items to cover and go through. And we addressed property acquisition status, which two things. There was the Blackburn cleanup, which you heard about in the environmental, which basically by next week will be 100% complete. It's gone very well in accordance with our schedule, so that's taken care of, and we can move on to other things there. The McGregor property, basically we had an update. We're trying to work with the owner there to purchase that property, and it's not been done yet, and there's been a motion put before the town council for taking, but there is ongoing discussions also as well. We talked about the DRI permit modification update, which Commissioner Griffin also discussed in the environmental meeting, basically working with the Cape Cod Commission on our development of regional impact modification, which is necessary because, as you know, we've changed the terminal size over the last year, and we also changed issues with the location of the access road, and also a particular access to the airport via what we were calling the solvent lot. So that work is ongoing, meetings are ongoing, and it's on schedule as far as getting that to them. We'll make a formal petition for the modification in the very near future. The airport access road, we discussed and updated on the contract with Jacobs for the design of the access road. We talked about the project schedule. We got a new update of the schedule, and basically the conclusion that we are on schedule as far as the planning we've been doing over the last several months, and in accordance with our August schedule, things are going well. And no reason to believe that we can't keep to that schedule as far as when construction will begin next year on both the access road and the terminal building. The CM at risk, which is, as you recall, our method for the construction management and construction services, that RFP is on the street, and we'll be accepting proposals for that work, which are due the end of this month, 31st. So we will get our review committee together again to look at those proposals.
Both the airport and the local comprehensive plan are on tonight's town council workshop agenda, and it all gets underway in the hearing room at 7 o'clock. Other than that, the meeting schedule here in town is clear until next week.
Clear, also a key word in our weather outlook as well. Tonight, plenty of stars visible, and a bit on the chilly side with the mercury sneaking down into the mid-30s. Then tomorrow, sunny skies with 15 to 20 mile-per-hour winds out of the west.
And it looks as though it will be just fine for trick-or-treaters tomorrow evening, and pretty comfortable with temps in the 40s. But it may be fairly windy, so you may want to adjust your costumes accordingly. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kevin Friel.
We'll see you right back here tomorrow. I'm Mark Mumford.